I think so these two.
I apologize if you are having a diet. For the new year or something.
Yeah.
I want.
Okay, everybody. I want to call to order the Elderly Affairs Committee of January the 4th, 2023.
Correct.
Pardon? It's at 8:35. And it's 8:35. Roll call. Dottie Bates.
I'll call out the name.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Sarah Suarez,
Here, present.
Omaida,
Here.
Jessica, here. Luis,
No, he's out.
Alexandra,
Mm.
Xiomara, Rosario,
Here.
Jacqueline, here. Pedro,
Here.
myself, Dottie,
Here.
Nancy.
You forgot me.
No, no, you say it down here.
That's it.
We just called your name.
Xiomara,
I think you're missing one, but we ran out.
no doubt, Xiomara, my Nancy is here.
And Lourdes.
No, I know. Okay. Xiomara.
No.
Brenda.
Yeah.
Aida
So,
and Lourdes.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Are you?
I has to be marked excuse, just for the record, I got right? What? For the record, I have excuse.
Yeah. Has everybody had a chance to read the last minute so we can do an approval of those?
Motion to approve the minute.
Motion to approve it.
I second. No public comments today?
You guys have to take a vote on the minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. All in
Favor.
All in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There's no public comments, no presentations, treasurer's report. On 23,935. Okay, comments from the chair. Wait, oh, I'm sorry.
I have a question about the treasurer's report. I want to know if we can get a breakdown of how much everything specifically cost us. In other words, if we spent X amount of money on a social, can we get exactly how much it was, how many people?
So the record that, so this is on our program units. So whatever you guys, and just for the record, I shared a link with all of you that at any moment, you guys have real time, up-to-date information. So whatever I see, you guys can see too. I just want to make sure you guys know that it's full transparency, you guys have access to it as well. However, I could print it for you, but what I want you to understand is how the way this is broken down, like these are the line items that have been approved by council. These are the line items you guys have. If you guys wanted to do it individually per like social, right? You have 4 socials a year and you wanted to do it per social, that would be up to the committee to sort out. What we can provide is a breakdown of what is spent per line item. Unfortunately, all 4 socials are built into one same line item. So you guys, I can pull a report of everything that has been spent for the year for socials, but not per event. At that point, it is dated. You guys will have to sort through it.
That they would tell you.
Yeah, that they would pretty much tell you.
Right, but this one is a line item for socials, how much we gave them.
So
It says, we've spent this amount of money, we spent 5, 6,
you spent 5,765. So what I can do is go further into that line item and you guys can do it as well.
Right.
Click it and the 5,765, all the line items that accumulate to that will show. But it's not broken down per event date. It's broken down per, like just for the senior social. Does that make sense?
Right, and so I guess what I'm trying to do is, just accounting, is say, okay, when we do it at Shula's, it's specifically, and I know we've approved it and stuff like this, but you know, is that what we got charged? In other words, yes, we signed a contract, but what did we actually get? What did we pay? So what did we get charged? So I want to see, okay, we had the social at, for example, at Thanksgiving, at Shula's. How much of that was actually charged? Things are being bought, you know, let's say on a credit card to order blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. So we go, oh, you know what? That wasn't worth it. You know, we can get them cheaper at the dollar store, or we can, you know, and we could be more efficient in our budget if we had a true breakdown, because this really gives you summaries.
Well, this is, again, the breakdown exists. But what exists, I just want to be very clear, is what you spent for the year for senior social. It will not break it down for you. Thanksgiving social, December social,
But have a
but there
date?
is dates. And that will give
So
you
you'll know.
away what, which one is for. At that point, you guys have to sort it.
You'll
What is
know.
publicly like available, that the way it sorts it is through whatever line item it is.
Okay.
But that record is available. It's just at that point, it would have to be up to you guys to sort it. If that's how you want to see it
Let's say that.
sorted.
In
No,
May.
no, but I think for the group,
Yeah, we can do it.
I think you can print it that way.
She can. do
I
it.
can, and again, I can print it like, let's say this is our webpage. I go into senior social and then it will give me the complete 1,000 in Shula's. I'm just throwing out numbers. 1,000 in Shula's, 500 in food, 500 in desserts this day, but that's fine, but it will all show up. Again, everything that accumulates to 5,165, it will not break it down per day. I just want to be very clear about that. At that point, however, because it has so much detail and comments, you guys can sort. You'll see that 1,000 hit from Shula's in December, 500 from food in February, like you'll see that.
Okay, we like that.
Yeah.
And
I can
think that
print
would
it
be
next
good,
time.
because then we can actually, and I'm throwing this out to the committee. Do we want that so that we can actually sit there and go, you know what, it's really not worth to have it at Shula's because it costs us this, and I'm giving an example. It really wasn't worth ordering the tablecloths from wherever we ordered it because it was more expensive, and if we anticipate our needs, we can get them from blah, blah, blah. You know, things like that.
Yeah.
What is the committee?
Yes.
Usually
We can do it.
the-
We can look at
The
it.
biggest items we have are the socials.
Yeah.
And that would be where we target, our effort, yeah, because the bingos run all about the same. We've got we have the tablecloths, we have the food, and we really do our best at targeting the food and who's gonna give us the best deal. Pedro does a good job on it, some of them come to me. So those are the two big items that you have. Bingo is probably our cheapest of all the things that we do.
Yes.
The senior socials are the most expensive. If you want to target it, that would be the best place to start doing it there. Because I know like for the bingos, most of the tablecloths I buy at the dollar store. Because sometimes they're cheaper there than in other place. But right now, I have a cabinet full of tablecloths. I'm afraid they're all rectangular and I need some round, but I'm gonna go check on that today. But I take the tablecloths that are left over and I put them in the cabinet, So I got all different colors and everything. I just don't know how many round I have and how many different things that Nancy had her hand.
Sure.
Okay, real quick, it's funny that you brought up the tablecloths, because if you know how many events you're gonna have in this fiscal year, and how many tables we usually gotta cover, whatever, and we always buy, for the most part, solid colored tablecloths, not Christmas or those special events. Perhaps buying them, you've already got a bunch already stored, but at some point, buy them by in bulk. And then you just pull them out of the box, and in the meantime, your special ones, you throw those in. And it might just work out because we are buying them from the same place all the time without any worry. It's not something, oh my gosh, you know, are they gonna have them, whatever. So knowing what you might be able to do that way, and then it frees up the rest of your budget for the rest of the year once you know you've got that taken care of.
Right now, I'm still using tablecloths from Willie.
Right.
From when?
From Willie.
Oh,
When Willie
Willie.
was here. And most of them are rectangle, because we use more of the round tables than we do the rectangle tables.
And the other half is knowing that any kind of receipt, whatever, if you take some of those rectangles with you, they might just trade them for some rounds.
I don't know where he bought them though.
But most of, you can look at them and know which ones came from Greenbrier, I think it's called, or whatever, from the dollar store.
I
And
think
they
he
they
was
would
buying
probably
stuff
do it.
online.
I think
I think he was buying.
all his stuff came from online. So I'm
I'm
gonna take
know
an
that.
I'm gonna take an inventory today and see exactly how many I have and what we have and what we can work with. Yes, I've buying them.
And can those tablecloths be not so sticky? Cause you and I and you, we're the ones that do the dirty work, putting them on the tables. Most people, when they get there, they've done already,
Yeah, I know.
and it's a hell of a thing.
That's something we have no control over. They come in a plastic bag and the longer they're in that bag, the more they're gonna stick together.
Right.
So I don't know, you can't tell how long they've been in the bag. Yeah.
So we have some rectangles tables over here. We can borrow it whenever we need it. But
Okay.
we only have
The
7.
rectangular
There's
is
only
no
7
problem.
over there.
Rectangular is not the problem.
No.
It's the round, because we use more round. We use
Right.
probably 13 to 14 round for every bingo.
If the other thing you could do, and I've done this before, is put 2 rectangle, and I know we'll be going through them quicker, but we won't be buying some. You could put a rectangle one way and then the other way.
On
And
top,
it'll-
like relapse.
Yeah, like this. And I know this because I've done it many times.
Oh.
Events.
It was done, I think the last bingo was
People
done
in
something like that.
Buffalo.
It was missing 1 or 2, but we used to.
You use
Yeah.
2 and you put them like this and it'll cover the round table.
We can do that.
Well, so we're gonna get the,
I have to admit, you mean
Like
two,
this, literally, this is a round table right here,
yeah, but, right,
and you put one this way and the other one this way,
Like a cross.
like a cross.
no, I know what you're saying, but that's gonna leap over the table when they get up and,
You push it on.
okay, all right. We'll try it next time.
okay, so we are gonna get the breakdown, right? This is-
Right, you're gonna
Yes.
get the breakdown.
The breakdown of
Or the
social,
whatever it
just
is.
everything that has been set for
Yeah.
school, so yeah, I'll print out a page. Exactly how it is on Munis, so you guys have access to that.
Okay, comments from the chair. We had the, chair meeting, I think it was last week. Of all the chairs, we have it every quarter, and it was our last one for the year. And, our voices were heard, I don't know if anything's gonna come up on it, but our voices were heard about the number of people and keeping everything organized, and one of the things was important, at least for our committee, was the one that, what's his name? Lorenzo, the homebound. I found out at that meeting that we can no longer, it started out with, we can no longer feed the homebound with town money or with us wearing our shirt. That, I got a lot of laughs at, so I'll just take my shirt off and then, it doesn't work that way. And he repeated that 3 times. If you cannot use the town funds, any of our funds, we cannot use for food for the seniors. And we cannot deliver the food as long as he said as long as I had the shirt on, but I'm hearing it both ways. I'll called me yesterday or the day before, and there's a different reading on that from what I understand.
So just to be clear, it's not that, again, the money, this is based on the direction on what you guys have budget lines for. So what has previously been approved, which is the whole delivery thing, which I know that switched when COVID started, is that those are, the bingo luncheons are meet and eats. The idea is for seniors to come and socialize and also share a meal together physically. However, I know we went into emergency mode, COVID happened and all that. However, just so you guys are clear, freebie, the way that freebie is funded, the agreement with them is not to deliver food. That's just not part of the insurance. It's just not part of it. If you guys want like further clarification on that, Lorenzo can give you a much better explanation, but that's just the gist of it. So we cannot use freebie for that. Our freebie times are very slow and that just adds to the backlog of it. So the drivers are not allowed to do that.
Okay.
And then as individuals, you guys are volunteers of the town, you represent the town. We cannot have you delivering food because we do not have insurance for that. That's just not part of that budget line item. However, keep in mind, any new activities, any new ideas, such as something specifically for homebound, you guys are always allowed to request whatever it is you want from council. If as a committee, you guys want to come up with something for homebound, we can work on that together and you can take it to council and council will approve or we'll ask you questions, whatever the steps are from there. It's just right now, that is not a part of an activity, a budget line item that you guys have.
Okay.
Of course, when COVID started, everybody went into emergency mode, we had to switch gears, that's fine, but that's no longer the case. So we do have to adhere to what that budget line item was created for. So it's not necessarily that you can't, it's just technically it has not been requested of council to create this new line item for homebound specifically. And if you guys take it to council, I'm sure Lorenzo can work with them on something that, you know, we could do for them. It's just, it has to come from the committee.
Such as food, or is food absolutely out? or
Whatever it may
Whatever
be.
we want to do.
Yeah, it's just like any other new activity or event you guys have. If you guys have anything new, it needs to go through council and get.
Okay, so if I make a motion to go back to council and do some homebounds. We make the motion and then it goes back to council?
Yeah, it would have to go through council. This might take a little more work. Because again, it's not as clear as, okay, council's gonna approve the freebie, do it. The freebie cannot do it.
No, forget the freebie.
Yeah,
no, that we
we're
can-
gonna have to
let's
work
pretend to-
internally on figuring out what company can hire.
No, let's do that me.
Yeah.
Without on my own responsibility, I sign a waiver. Have my car insurance, right?
So just some idea based on what you're saying. Because the program, again, is for meet and eat, right now, what we are allowed to do is the seniors get together, we have the meals
Right.
allocated for them, and we do have some seniors that are picking up, right?
Right.
That is okay. However, if there are any meals left over,
What do we do? Throw them away?
the committee cannot do anything with this. You as an individual, you want to take the leftovers home,
That's up to me.
That's-
Perfect.
and that's how that.
That's how that works.
But the town just cannot, you know, like I can't take reservations that we were doing.
No,
for
no, no,
delivery,
that-
because that
that-
no longer exists. It's not supposed to be a part of our meeting. That's
So
all.
I'm sorry, let's pretend that I say I'm gonna go, right, but I don't make it. My food is left there. Right? After the meeting, I could say, I'm gonna take this, and go to that person and take it to them on my own.
What you do with leftover food when
It's
you
up
go
to
to a party.
Okay, all right,
it's up to
all
you.
right, I get it.
It is not, it's just not part, I just want to be very clear because technically you're right, that would be a meal leftover. However,
Right,
there are walk-in seniors that will take up that spot. That meal will be given to them, right? Because that's what the event is.
No, right, if they come in, we give it to them, like, let's pretend that before, there were 5 meals that somebody would bring to the town. That's just- Like
Let me give you an example. Just on an average, we would have 20 reservations. And out of that 20 reservations, 15 show up. All those 15 are gonna have a meal. So now we have 5 left over.
right,
Those meals can be taken by
Yes.
you or anybody here
yes.
and delivered to
That's
one,
it.
like that. That's, from what I understand, we can do that.
What you do with your leftover
It's
food
up to you.
as an individual, it is up to you.
I want to make a motion though, to set up, I'm sorry.
I have a question about that part, because am I recognized by the chair to speak?
Yes, oh, yeah, I'm,
Okay.
sorry.
I'm caught up to what you said so far, but a while back, you also said if we leave with those 5 meals, we're not supposed to be wearing our elderly affairs shirts. So the understanding is, when you make your motion, I want to understand
No, I'm gonna.
that we have to take those 5 extra meals. You volunteer to go deliver them, and you're not wearing your shirt is legal.
No, let me correct you,
Okay.
because you don't have to take any.
Right.
What you guys do at this party and take your individual meals home with you, whatever happens after
That's what
that, the
I'm
town
saying.
cannot control. Right,
Right,
because you are-
right, but you're
But
not
it's not
doing it.
you,
with
it's
your
not the town agreeing that you're gonna take,
Right.
deliver meals on behalf of the town for home. health.
Right.
Like, that is not a part of the activity. I want to be very clear.
Right, let's pretend there's 5 meals left. I take them for myself, but on the way home,
You
I
see
stop at
somebody
his
hungry.
and gave it to, that's up to me. Right.
Okay.
Yes, Sarah.
doesn't matter that we have the t-shirt, it doesn't matter.
No, it does matter. You guys cannot act on behalf of the town.
You
Cannot wear your shirt.
Hopefully you have a spare in the car.
I applaud that decision. I'm very happy that we cannot deliver to anybody to her house. Cause I hated it when I had to do it. All these old people have nasty dogs and they take an hour to get to the door. No.
That's all right. You will be ever be requested to do it.
One of the things that I think maybe we could consider to avoid any complications is I would make a motion that says, let's put a line item
Yes.
specifically for take home. That means we'll budget whatever amount of money. And that if Uber's the one that we have to pay to take it, then Uber's the one that we have to pay to take it. And that would eliminate any of us having to deliver it.
And that number is consistent.
Right.
You know, it's not gonna change like the others number. I don't feel like going today or the one guy told me, I said, where's the other 3 people? You can't 4 reservations. Oh, I was on Eventbrite and I kept hitting that button. It wouldn't tell me accept, so he had 4 reservations.
Right.
So we
We
only
ended
had
up-
1. We had 3 extra lunches then.
Right.
Because the thing do not, a lot of them do not know how to have it, how to run an Eventbrite. We ought to have a class in that for them.
But understand that
Yeah,
the two are still we're still gonna have the issue of people not showing up. and-
oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
getting these extra meals. And again, you know, if people take them, that's fine. But so that there is a specific amount of money budgeted towards homebound. Because if everybody shows up, guess what? This homebound person, because technically we shouldn't be ordering more than the amount of people. And that's why I want to see the budget. Because are we just ordering, okay, 130 people, but the truth is, we only had 115 RSVP, then why are we ordering?
Well, that has been the case, but that's been agreed upon by the committee.
Yeah.
So I will print that next time so you guys can take a look.
But the thing is, I'm seeing people on the list that don't never show up.
No, I understand.
I want to say, all right, you don't show up 3 times, we don't accept your reservation anymore. Because you're not even calling and saying, I can't make it. You're just going in there and I see the same names. And I don't even know these people. I don't know where they live. I don't have a phone number where I can call them. I have nothing to say, wait a minute, you're using our money here when you make these reservations and you don't show up. And that's the problem I've had with it's going on.
Unfortunately, though,
Yes,
I understand
right.
that if it's within your budget, you guys cannot deny
I don't know.
access to anything. So I know that it's not convenient, but we can't do that.
No, you're not gonna be able to.
We can't do that.
No, it is what it
But
is.
can I at least have a phone number where I can call them?
Yes, you
And
can have a phone number,
that-
you can
and I'll-
call
I'll
them, but
start
we
doing it.
cannot tell them, hey, because you haven't shown up 3 times, you can't come. Unfortunately, we cannot do that.
No, but at least I can let them aware that what they're
Yeah.
doing is wrong. They're just making the reservation for whatever reason and not showing up.
Wasting it.
So, Lourdes, just to your, if you guys do decide you want to do something for homebound, you just have to come up with the idea of what that would look like. If you're asking for additional funds from council, or if you plan to just move funds from your already existing funds
Yeah,
into
so that
that,
much
that's
more.
for you guys to discuss and come up with, so you can go.
But you got money back from the previous, right?
Well, we're gonna get some money.
I don't
think,
know.
Mr. Peterman said the excess from last year, we should know about in April,
What you're gonna know is how much money was left over.
left
That
over.
doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna be carried over.
Yeah,
If you guys
you're not
want
gonna
to
use it.
carry over any, allow any leftover funds, you have to go to council and request that.
Okay, we could do, if it's enough of money, we could do that,
So we'll have that
You want it back?
number, I think, by next month. or in March.
he said somewhere around there.
She said you can request.
When this project first came up at the meeting, the reason I got upset was because they closed it 2 days before our Christmas party, and none of those seniors had a Christmas lunch. And that's what got me upset about this whole thing. If it would have gone on and said, as of December 31st, you know, you no longer can do it, that'd have been fine. But it was 2 days before we had our Christmas party and we could not give out those lunches to them, and it just bothered me to no end.
No, and that's why I want to
Line item.
move, I make a
Make a line
motion that we create a budget specifically for homebound
Yes.
to feed the
Second.
homebound.
That's
A
exactly.
second.
And then second, Nancy second. All in favor?
Now, I just want to be, that kind of brings me to the point of council. I sent an email, I believe, a few weeks back about a schedule or reporting schedule to council. That's, part of, whenever you guys go to council, there needs to be a memo taken to them. That memo has to be something that the committee has agreed on, right? Because the chair or any other volunteer of the committee cannot act on behalf of the committee. You guys all have to be in agreement of what's going to council. So with that said, we need a memo about this request that you guys are making. This memo needs to be seen by the committee and you guys need to approve it. So ideally, whenever you guys are gonna bring anything to council, just to be prepared, you should just bring the memo to the meeting. You guys approve it and then we add it to the next council agenda.
Now, can this be done, I noticed that we got, at least I did this committee report schedule. And I didn't see our name on here anymore. Oh, there it is. The first one, all right, there it is. So we don't go till September. Okay, it's in the first. So April. So can we do it at this meeting here?
So you could do it then, or if you want to do it before that, I just need you guys to bring that memo. I'll draft the memo and bring it to the next meeting so they can approve. I can add it to the agenda.
Lourdes has agreed to draft up a memo for the, and she will have it for us at the next meeting.
Let me ask,
What is the next? The first Wednesday of the next month.
It's February 1st.
Is that the first?
Yeah.
Yes, Nancy.
Okay, Lourdes, it's harder to hear down here. Lourdes is going to drop a memo, so it'll be used for each time that we have to request something. It's gonna-
no, we're gonna do a memo to, the memo will say that we want a line item specifically for homebound. Now, my question, as I'm writing this memo, because I know council's gonna write it. How much do we want to do so that I can put in the memo?
How many people?
Well,
I can give you
How much
the number
money?
of people, how much money,
what is an average lunch cost? This is why I don't,
Between 7 to 15. It depends. You guys use different people. Different people have different
depending who
costs.
will give us the
Yeah.
best deal at the time.
Right.
I mean, some of them, if we go to NQC, he gives me a great deal. Hamper Chef gives me a great deal.
but we could,
But if the other ones, you go to the other ones, they're maybe like 10, 12, 14, $15.
but we could always do, let's say that we say,
To an average of the middle.
$12.
I was gonna say like
How many?
Okay.
$13, if we do $13, even if they're not from the same place that we get our food for the social, we could always get it from whoever gives it to us for $13.
Mhm.
Okay, so $13 is,
And I think there's around 15, but I'll have to go back and check.
Put 18 to make sure that.
You know, if it's more than that, I'll let you know, but I don't have the list with me today.
15
How about maximum of 18 or whatever
Yeah,
number
put
you can.
18.
Maximum
Or 20
of
max.
max
I'll
20.
have an exact number. for
20,
you.
yeah, do 20.
Okay, but what if somebody else becomes homebound, you know, like
Okay, then yeah, the max 20.
Max
We could only,
20,
you know, if you only need
20.
10, we could just do 10.
Right. Because we'll have this budget and it'll be a fluid budget. If something costs more money and we only did 10 that month, you know, now we
Oh,
have
you
more
agreed
money.
on
The more details you guys add to that,
Right,
memo,
I know. That's right.
We're gonna get.
That's why I'm asking these questions. I realize what's gonna go before council.
I will
So-
give you all that information.
So I'm gonna say 13 for an average of 20 people
Right.
every month.
Every month.
Every month.
and
Once a
also-
month?
Twice a month now.
Is it
Yeah, we
once
do
or
it twice a month. All the lunches are scheduled for twice a month.
twice?
Yeah, it's gonna be like $15 because you're gonna take into consideration the delivery fee,
And tip, and the tax.
the delivery fee, so you gotta do $15.
Yeah.
Pay the town, she,
There's,
Okay, so the motion is,
hold on,
Well, the memo needs to be brought back to the committee as a
Right,
whole
yes.
anyway, so you guys will see it.
Hello, we're in a
And
meeting.
Lourdes, I would suggest, be clear about if you're asking for additional funds, or will you be using funds from an
Yeah.
already existing line item and transfer them to? this?
we got the money back.
okay, so just so you know, this is the
free is already
basic
allocated,
memo
though.
that, and I'm speaking out loud so the people at the end can hear me. The basic memo is gonna be that the committee is asking for an average of $15, so we'll say $15 for a maximum of 20 people to feed the homebound twice a month. This $15 will include the tax and the delivery fee.
Yes.
I think that's too little for food and
Was it-
delivery.
No, because remember the food is $10, give or
The
take.
delivery will be like $8 or no.
But it's right
With
around.
China, it doesn't matter.
You guys were tax exempt.
That's
so
very-
something-
So, okay, so they're taxes.
It's a lot more money.
So do you think we need more money than that? I don't order delivery.
I think
It's
sorry,
starting
yeah.
on the proposal, that just changing so that everybody.
You've got to raise your hand and I'll recognize you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have to factor in. I mean, just know we're tax exempt. We have to average, is there gonna be a tip for the driver, the time of the driver, as well as transportation fees, gas fees.
That's a lot.
I mean, I would
Good
recommend
morning.
asking for a proposal of what is allowed. Or maybe a proposal from Iowa, who is it that we use? Can we partner?
No, I
with
mean, at the meeting.
Meals on Wheels, can we partner with someone else to do this for
That's
free? I mean,
okay.
we're tax
Can I
exempt, right? It's for
We need
the
something.
committee.
But I
It's
understand
just
that.
gets.
But the If we, and I respect what you're saying and I hear what you're saying and we can do that in the future, but if we want to get these seniors food now, we need to get this to town now. What you're talking about is the time we get hold of Meals on Wheels and see if they partner, they have to then negotiate with the town and a lot more is gonna
Make it $17.50.
Well, to be clear, this might also
Or
be a process,
$7.
just so you guys are
Right,
clear, because this still
Right.
requires you guys coming back in February, agreeing, and then at that point being added to the next council agenda.
Or am I?
Which may not be in time for February, so just keep that in mind.
Right.
And when you do go to council can go back and tell you this, hey, I want you guys to work on the most cost efficient you can, this is just an example, and you're gonna have to figure out quotes. So it may be very quick and it may not.
For $20.
There's other people with their hand, their hands up. Yes, Amina.
2 meals a month won't keep him alive.
We're not- not the
It's so important.
All right, go ahead.
I think it's more important to get together, and the people at homebound are not getting together, they're just getting to answer the door. Maybe they don't like their food and they throw it away. I don't see why we're putting so much emphasis on the people that can't come.
for
Well,
one,
doesn't make any
for
sense.
one thing,
It's
they
not-
enjoy knowing that they're recognized, it's part of the town. You don't know how many have called and said they appreciate us thinking of them and feeling like they are a part by getting the lunch. One thing we could think about doing is seeing Pedro, maybe
Yes.
getting a sponsor
Yes.
that will help us with
We'll do it.
this bit.
And we have 2 new restaurants that are gonna help us too.
Okay, yes,
Make
ma'am.
it $20. And let the town cut it down.
going once.
They're gonna cut it down anyway.
Yeah, they will, they
$20.
will. Go higher and then they'll.
No,
But if we can get a sponsor, that would even be better. And I think a sponsor would really recognize that. I mean, that would be a.
That's it. Oh, right to go.
I'm just saying it's $400.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question, and this is more for Io about committee rules. Can this memo be circulated via email prior to the next meeting? That way we're ready.
So just, just so you guys are clear, not specifically this request, this memo, but just in general, any memo that is taken to council, you guys need to review as a committee. So this right now, just because Georgia sent it to me, does not mean it's gonna be sent to council. This will be brought back to the entire committee for you guys to take a formal vote on.
What I meant, can it be distributed via email?
Or does it break the?
Can I?
Or does it have to be?
Can
Well,
you send
can-
email it to
yeah,
me?
she will have to- But I just want to be clear that you guys will be seeing the final memo before it goes to council. If you guys, for any reason, do not approve that memo, it will not be taken to council. You guys need to agree on the memo as it's going to take.
Exactly, yes, ma'am.
What she's asking is before everybody agrees, do we need to meet again? Does it break the sunshine rule if she emails it to us?
Yeah, you guys cannot discuss because it's a voting matter, so you guys cannot, outside of public meeting, you guys cannot discuss.
In other words, what's gonna happen is she's gonna send it out, you write your notes, you bring it to the meeting. At the meeting, we will say, does anybody have any
It's a
comments
meeting.
on this memo? And then you would say blah, 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 ABC, she might say DEF, then we agree and then we can modify it.
If you want to avoid any delays, what I would suggest is Lourdes drafts up this final one, right, for this draft. She sends it to me, hey, this is what I'm gonna go to council with. I will share with you guys electronically. You guys send me any feedback. And like that, she can work on adding it before the next meeting. So she really brings truly the final. Yeah.
The next
Okay,
meeting will
done.
be on February the 1st,
Yes.
so not before the next.
So I can send you any edits.
You can do that?
All right, cool.
Under old business, the Christmas party was a huge success. Everybody had so much fun.
They love it.
Yeah, they really had a good time. The food was good. I don't think there was anything left over. Yes, ma'am.
But I just wanna bring up a problem that we had.
Oh, okay.
We had a problem with the sponsor. Because we had an email that said that the sponsor was bringing the centerpieces and the tablecloths and an arch. At the night before, because I wanted to know what type of centerpiece did we need to put something else on the table? So I wanted to speak to the sponsor because I had spoken with Dottie that I would decorate, and I just wanted to make sure that there was no other decorations that needed to be done. And I finally got a hold of the sponsor the night before the event. So the event was on a Thursday, Friday. So literally the night before, and she goes, I'm not doing it. And I said, what do you mean you're not doing it? She goes, I didn't hear from town confirming it, so it's not being done. And I said, what do you mean it's not being done? This event is tomorrow. Like, we're talking, it was, yeah, it was like 6 o'clock because I had to be somewhere at 6 o'clock. So I was actually late for my 6 o'clock meeting because I'm like, what do you mean you're not doing this? She goes, well, council never confirmed. I was trying to get a hold of Al. I was on vacation, and then it said to get a hold of Jonathan. And I can tell you, I personally called Jonathan. Jonathan did not respond to me. I personally emailed and I did not get a response from Jonathan as well. She said she was doing the same thing, trying to get a hold of somebody in council that would confirm that they were doing this. And I can tell you, she says, I'm not doing it. I'm like, you said you would do it. They sent you an email back in, 3 weeks ago that said, I'm confirming that for $400, and I believe you'll get a $400 credit if I recall the email from Mile specifically. And for the $400 credit that you're going to be getting, you will be doing X amount of centerpieces, you will be doing the tablecloth and a balloon arch. And she goes, well, I can't do this. She goes, can you please get a hold of my supervisor? Because we need to talk. I said, no problem. I three-wayed her supervisor on, and her supervisor's like, what do you mean? And I said, look, we have this email. She's saying it's never been confirmed. I have a problem with this. And I said, at no point did she ever try and contact anybody in the committee to say that she wasn't doing this. She, at least she should have contacted, in my opinion, Doug, to say, hey, by the way, I haven't been able to get a hold of anybody in town, so I'm not doing this. And I seem angry because I was really pissed off.
Really, you are allowed.
I'm still am. I was, so I said to her supervisor, this is ridiculous. How can you guys do this? So her supervisor said, there was an email. I said, yes, there was an email. She said, send me the email. I sent the email. She goes, we'll do this. Okay, you're sure? Yes, the woman sends me at like 10 o'clock at night. She goes, these are the ones that I've been able to get done. I'm like. I then had to finagle. I called my sister in the morning and said, you need to come because we're really only gonna have from the picture. It showed that there was like 8 centerpieces. And I had the picture, so there was like 8. And there was no balloon on it.
Who was the sponsor?
Jen. So then
Which is unusual.
I got a call in the morning from her supervisor, Maria. Because the person I was talking to that was saying that she wasn't gonna do it was a person named Curtis. I then got a hold of Maria. Or Maria called me in the morning. She said, I'm on my way. How many tablecloths do you need? And so I said, I told her how many, and she goes, okay. She said, I'm on my way there. And I said, how many centerpieces do you have? She goes, I don't know. I haven't been able to get a hold of Lourdes. And I'm like, I said to my sister, bring everything you can that we can decorate. And she goes, I will bring,
The balloon.
Maria says, I'll bring things that I don't want from Christmas. I have a Santa Claus. So she brought, some items. I took a bunch of stuff and she calls me and she goes, hey, the tables weren't set up. She goes, I've got to go buy the tablecloths. The balloon lady just called me and she's on her way. I said, with how many centerpieces?
Yeah, but she did a great job.
See, they were beautiful. If anybody was there, they were beautiful centerpieces. So then the woman, the balloon lady said, I'm not getting paid. And I said, well, you mean you're not getting paid? Of course you gotta get paid. This isn't a free thing.
She wanted them back.
And she wanted the centerpieces back. And I said, I can't, I'll take them off the table and hand them to you. Like, that's not gonna happen. She goes, at least I need the wood stand that holds the balloon. And I'm like, you want me to rip off these balloons?
Yeah.
Not an option. How much are these balloon centerpieces gonna cost? She told me it was gonna be $20. And I went, wait. Well, I'll talk to Tim and see what we can do, because really we shouldn't be giving credit to Jen for $400 when in fact, I'm gonna have to somehow come up with a budget to pay you $20 a centerpiece. Make a long story short, I then went and talked to Maria, who was there in the morning to bring us the tablecloths because they had not been purchased. And so I said, listen, this balloon lady says she's big and she's asking. She says she'll donate it, but she wants the sticks back. And I get the sticks back, blah, blah, blah. She goes, let me deal. And I said, you balloon lady, come here. And I put her with Maria, and Maria said, not to worry, she would pay the balloon lady. And the balloon lady and her exchanged information because apparently Lourdes had fallen off the radar, was not answering anybody's phone call. So my point after this tirade that I just did, so that everybody understood what really went behind the scene that day, is we should, because when I couldn't get a hold of John, I'm like, give me the phone number to call, who I need to call to coordinate this. And I have been trying for a few days. I think it should be incumbent on the committee, and I say the committee, us, to really negotiate the deal with the vendors that are the sponsor, so that we know exactly what's happening. We have who we're talking to on a regular basis. We can approve it. Make sure that they get, apparently they had never signed a thing saying that they were doing this. I don't know because I couldn't talk to anybody
You're
in
right.
town. Nobody was
They
answering.
didn't sign. However, that conversation was had and it was on an email.
And
But I just want to be clear because they did agree, and that's usually how it happens with the sponsors, and we don't have an issue.
that's when Maria saw the email was the only reason, just so you understand, because of that email. But if we know that this is going on, we're like, hey, did you sign your contract that you're doing this? If they didn't sign the contract, we then know, hey, we may not have a sponsor.
We have a sponsorship form, just so we're on the same page. If you want, we haven't, you're right. We haven't enforced it. It's kind of been like if they send me an email saying, hey, we're in, we kind of take that as a confirmation, and we've never had an issue with at least any of your sponsors with that. This is the first.
And
However, if that's the case, I can make sure that we have them sign that form so that you guys have it, and I can share it with you when it's signed.
usually, that part we don't get involved with.
Yeah.
She usually handles all that for us. We don't, when she tells me I got a sponsor, I figure she's gotten everything done, or all the information and
Well, and
Sounds
usually
great.
the sponsors come in, just so we're clear, monetary cash. So there's not much for the committee to handle. However, if it's an in-kind and you guys, there's no problem. You guys can get involved. Dottie has had communication with sponsors. That's not a problem at all. I'm just saying the
No.
initial confirmation does come from the town.
from the town.
That's-
And I understand that the confirmation has to come from the
That's the
town.
first time that's ever happened.
And I understand, but let me tell you,
I know what you went through.
Let me take.
it's not necessarily what I went through. It is, had I not done what I did, I can guarantee you, there would have been no tablecloths. And there would have been no center.
It's true.
Yeah, then we would have showed up and it was.
Then, Nancy has had her hand up for a while.
What she went through should never happen again.
Oh, I agree.
I would like us to come up with a motion to circumvent this problem. One of which is you had my understanding that you had no idea about a contract or this, whatever that has to be done on the town side. So communication between the town and someone in our committee, maybe it should always be Dottie, with an email affirming that the contract's been signed. We have a contract with these people. This is what it states. This is what you should expect. And I realize there might be a time constraint and whatever, but the committee needs to be made aware. Thank you. The committee needs to be made aware of when we can act and expect certain things have been done. You should never, I'm apologizing. I think it's
Listen,
awful. And
it
thank
is-
God you were able to follow through and stay on it, or you're right, we'd have had, especially Christmas time. It's a big deal, and we would have looked awful. So thank you for your hard work.
Brenda's had her hand up for a while. Go ahead, Brenda.
No, a suggestion, because yeah, I know with the events and it happens all the time. I mean, might be the first one with you. But probably, since there's two different sections involving the negotiation and us going, and then a third with the vendors and the sponsor. What she's saying, I agree. But also maybe like a memo that includes contact such and such, phone number, vendor such and such, and then, either for you to have it. So if there's any issue of any of us getting involved with this and they call us or, we're involved, we know that you have the information as a backup, besides if the town is closed on a holiday or whatever, you and a backup as well.
Normally, Pedro is the one that finds a sponsor for it. He
I'm
does-
the answer for her. See, what happened is this, and this is the first time it happened. The thing is this, what I always say it, and Dorothy can tell me, I always want her to talk to the people, because I talk to mostly all the sponsors. The problem with Jim was this, Victoria was on vacation for 2 weeks. Victoria is in charge of all these events, she's a manager. She's been working with us for 7 years. So apparently, like you just said it, she was out, so.
Maria was in
No,
charge.
that's why I say Dorothy should know everything that's going on, she can talk to them. Because 98% of the time I talk to the sponsor, I'm on top of it. I called them a few days before, but if I don't know it, because sometimes, so many of them, so. That's what happened on it, but you have a good point on it, it's best to have something, that we can check it.
The chain of command.
Because I did a big event, I have 16 sponsors, I don't have problem with one.
Yeah. so
That's
those-
the first time that
Had,
happened.
like, the sponsorship form has their contact information, like that's part of what they fill out. Okay,
Yeah.
we haven't had the issue because we have their email, they're responsive, it wasn't the case.
It
So
was,
going forward, I will share that form.
I can
with
tell
all
you,
of you.
the problem was that you were on vacation, Jonathan wasn't
Sure.
responding,
Victoria
Clarissa
was-
wasn't
Maria-
responding. Their person was on vacation. It happened, it was like an eruption of a lot of things. But we learned from our actions, in my opinion.
We learned a big lesson.
We
Right.
learned a really big lesson. And you know what? Fortunately, it looked beautiful. Nobody in the event even knew. You know, we helped the balloon lady put out the balloons because she didn't have anybody.
Dress,
She was building the arch literally in the morning. As people were arriving, she was putting the final touches on it. And that's fine. But what I'm saying is, the communication from the town was difficult. She even responded, and I say she, Isle responded, here's the sponsor's name, or, you know, and I had seen the email that she was out. The minute it said contact Jonathan or Clarissa, I then wrote to them, they didn't respond, I then called Jonathan, he didn't respond. And so there was a lack of communication on the part of town because she was out.
So you can never be out again.
That's not happening. But what I'm saying is, there has to be some,
Not answering.
there,
Bottom line, everybody's got the same complaint. I'm sorry to take another turn, but it just, I'm like this right now because we have all committee chairs, committee members tried to reach people in town. Isle's got every right in the world to take a vacation. She works like a son of a gun. The point is, from the rest of the chain of command, everything fell apart because everybody we were supposed to contact was not answering their phone for whatever reason. They were too busy. I get it. The point is, we're stuck. When we have a problem, we just don't have the support to fix the problem because everybody's so busy. Everybody's overworked.
I have a question of you, with Jonathan. Because I've heard from other committees, they have the same, he's new, I think, isn't he? Yeah, no, but why, because they say they call him, I've talked to other chairs, I had a problem with Jonathan, I had a problem. Is it he doesn't, he's afraid to do it, or he doesn't want to?
I
do
don't want to put that narrative out there
No,
because
no.
Jonathan is very helpful for me, so I
No.
can't.
No,
I
but
don't
I mean,
hear that.
maybe you can
However-
just give him a little feedback from this, that
I will share my personal opinion on this. I think, and that this is, at least it works for me, and I know he kind of works the same way I do. The best way to reach me is email. Because that is what I'm constantly like looking at. It doesn't take me, no, but I just want to be clear about that.
oh,
The
okay.
best way to reach
didn't
me
get that.
and Jonathan is email. My voicemails, like I do receive voicemails, but it does take me a little longer to get voicemails. I just want to be very clear with you guys, like if you are trying to reach me, that is the best way to reach me. However, I want to be clear because I don't want anyone to think that maybe their calls are not coming through. My personal cell phone, you will not be able to reach me at. No, I just want to be clear because I had given it out initially and maybe if people are still trying to call it, like you will not be able to, no, maybe it's not you, but I just want you guys to know. If you do want to reach me via phone, I do have an extension number and that's where you would leave the voicemail or give me a call. Other than that, I really do prefer email. I think I'm just quicker with email. If you guys need a faster response from me, I just want you guys to know that.
You know that I emailed
Yeah,
because you saw the copies. So you know that I emailed, and like I said, you said, listen, I'm on vacation here, you know, contact Lourdes, which I did. When I couldn't, I again wasn't gonna bother you because I believe everybody should be able to be on vacation and not be bothered. So I then went and started contacting Jonathan. And I don't know what his position is. I don't know, to be honest with you. I don't. Is he your,
He's very equal.
so he's another,
He has certain
liaison.
chair, he has certain
well,
committees.
he's actually more of a digital, I don't know the exact title right now. He just happens to work as a liaison as well. He also has the same way I have committees. He actually helps out with two of them.
He's our
Which
license.
are obviously not elderly. So he's just a point of contact when technically I am the point of contact, but if you can't reach me, then I kind of just kind of like, it's kind of what happens.
oh, I think he needs to be told when they're out. He needs to answer, respond.
I have no comment for that, sorry.
He doesn't report to her.
No, I understand, but you know what, as a coworker, because
No.
I'm not, you know,
Yeah.
if there's enough people that start saying that he's not responding, that's a problem for him. So I, as a friend, would say to him, hey, people are complaining, it's on tape.
Okay, let's move on. We had a bingo, in December. And that day it was raining. And I forget who I was dealing with and said, gee whiz, I'm gonna go over just to see if anybody shows up, you know?
And you,
so-
me,
I think it's you and I, we agreed we would go over and, just see if anybody showed up. Well, just as I got there, 2 people showed up. We had the biggest bingo ever.
it was great.
In the rain, coming and going. It was unbelievable, and they all had such a great time. We couldn't have asked for such a rainy day and have such a good time. I mean, it was really unbelievable. So they said, when's our next one? I said, next year. So under new business, we have our first bingo next Wednesday at Roberto Alonso. So anybody that wants to come and help can. I know not a lot of you's work and you can't do it, but we have a lot of fun with the bingos. And I got on here possible educational forums for 2023. Some of the seniors have asked for some things that they can learn from. I forget what the one we that was kind of weird, but you know, well, just for example, Eventbrite. Something that they have to manually go in and do, have a few of those so they can get used to it. I mean, I don't know how to use Eventbrite.
That's too hard. It's too hard for me.
I think it is, I just never got the hang of it, and I just said, well, maybe there's other things that we can do. The phone,
FaceTime. I can tell you, I taught her how to use FaceTime. She didn't know how to use FaceTime.
Right.
Or Instacart, so they could
Right.
shop for themselves.
I never heard of that one.
Oh, that's a good one.
So,
Yes, Nancy.
Do you remember years ago when we had the forum or whatever you want to call it, and we had help with
What time?
Hernandez, no, the councilman.
isn't it a tech form?
It's layer 8, I believe, is his company. I think. Anyway, the councilman,
Tony Fernandez.
and he helped us, and we had a couple of forums how to do certain things on Facebook and whatever. And I think maybe we can do that again and
I
ask
think,
him.
I think that would be really good. I mean, the more we can educate them, the better it's the easier
Them?
it's
How
gonna be
about
for us. Well, us too. And the more it's gonna make it easier for us and for the town, because this phone rings off the hook. And when it's ringing off the hook, people calls coming in that need to go to the different departments are not being answered. So the more we can educate the senior, and they love to be educated, they love to learn something new. This, I know. They love the forms that we have with the medical, all the medical forms that we have. So any kind of form we can think of, I think. we
But I
need
would
to
do
start
it in the
using
way
here.
of like almost a classroom type thing. Okay, this is step 1, step 2, everybody got to do it with the phones, da. This way it's hands-on. Reading something up on a screen and talking to them, me. You know, and I would be the first one to be at that class because there's a lot of things, you know, you don't know how to do this. And real fast FaceTime. I was getting dressed, I put the phone over here like this, talking to Councilman Nelson Rodriguez. I'm naked from the waist up. Luckily, the way I angled the phone, you only saw this. He'd have gone blind if I put the phone the wrong way. I swear to you, I tell that story against myself because it can happen. You know, you're busy getting dressed, somebody calls you.
I don't answer it while I'm getting dressed. I'm sorry.
Well, I have learned. I have a whole phone.
Brenda.
Idea for the forms, video. It can be, you know, you can videotape the class that you can do the day that you do the class. They take the video, you can share that video to other people that didn't show up, or if they want them for reference. A form to tell them step 1, 2, and 3 to take them with when they're finished with the class. If they cannot come, there's a form and there's a video.
And there's a cost for that video. I know who you can call to have it done and who can help with that, but there
No,
is.
but I'm talking about, you know,
If our tech people can do it,
yeah,
that would be
yeah.
helpful.
it won't be-
Well, it's something that I think we all should think of a form and come up to the next meeting of what we can do, and then we can get with Isla and she can see how she can help us get it going.
I'd like to make a motion that we all do a little bit of homework and write down specific, how do you want to do such and such? How do you want to do FaceTime, whatever, so different subjects that we all think might be helpful, and then vote on which aspects and get somebody in to do it.
And then when, ask some of the seniors, at any of these ones, what do you need? What do you?
We could do
need?
that in the bingo or something.
Next bingo.
Yeah.
Ask them, say, what is it we can do to help?
Like that.
What would help you to?
Would
be-
it help to have a paper form for them to?
Oh, I write it down when they talk to me.
No, but she's right. we can
Yeah,
handle
but
it.
yeah, we can do a form up for that, yes, ma'am.
If you don't know there's Instacart, you can't ask to have a class on Instacart
Right.
because obviously you don't know that it exists. Therefore, you're not gonna ask for a class. I think what we should do are things that are tasks that we believe that seniors are gonna need. FaceTime is very important because if you're sick or you want to see your loved ones and they're far away, it's a great way of communicating. If you're homebound, you can call your friend and hang out with them. I've had dinner when we had COVID at Christmas last year. We had the phone and we did dinner with the family and we had the phone there and the kids were on the phone. We've done it with my husband's family in California. We put them on the table and we've had family meetings. So that is one. I think another one that would be good is
What's up?
Zoom,
They need WhatsApp if they're
WhatsApp.
gonna do, they don't have an iPhone.
right? If they're, yeah, WhatsApp. But we can then give, I call it a flow chart because I'm old. A step by step. Take phone, turn on, call person, see icon that says, a little camera in the left-hand corner. And literally walk them through it for the big ones. I don't know how to do Instacart. I could figure it out if I wanted
And it would
to.
be great for homebound and anybody that doesn't leave their house. They can have groceries at their door.
Right, or Publix. A lot of people do Publix, because I know you could order things from Publix. And now Winn-Dixie
Super
is
convenient.
doing delivery, but we can do, if one person does, let's say, Winn-Dixie, one person of our group, one person does Winn-Dixie, one person does Publix,
Or
one
Uber.
person,
Uber.
one person does Uber, one person does Uber Eats.
FaceTime.
FaceTime, FaceTime is very important, but if we do that, and we don't have to hire somebody if we don't need to. I
One
think
of us
we're
can
enough,
teach the class.
yeah, like,
I'll do it.
you can do some, I can do some, you can do some, you can do some, like, you guys, we're all,
Questionnaire.
like, the younger generation that does stuff, I FaceTime all the time,
So
so.
they can also break up into groups. So if you just want to do FaceTime, you go over there and we do that.
Right, but we'll write out
And she said.
a very specific, like, you know how there's those books, blah, blah, blah for dummies? This will be FaceTime for dummies, Instacart for dummies,
Seniors, I
Yeah.
think it's a better word.
But I think-
but no, but everybody knows those
But a
books.
lecture on FaceTime is not gonna take 30
No.
minutes.
That's why we would do all of us. Like, you're gonna do Instacart, Publix, and Dixie. You're gonna do WhatsApp and blah, blah, blah. You can do something else. I can do FaceTime, or you can do this. I don't care. But we can pick different things and we can volunteer. We pick a date and we have a forum and we don't have to pay anybody. I can video, you can videotape anything with a phone.
Like a tech day, let's say, or tech, whatever.
That's what we've done, tech forums. We've done them twice
And
already.
the videos are already in YouTube, you don't have to invent the wheel.
But they don't know how to go to YouTube.
No, but I'm just saying
See, they
for
do the plays and
expense and reference, everything's already, everything is already done. It's just going with them because with seniors, it's a repeating thing and it's not 1 or 2 times, it's
Right.
5 and 6 and 7, some 8 times, and depending on the age, the older they get, it's worse, and the language too. So for them, it's like one time and you're gonna learn, it's not gonna happen. It's gonna have to be a sequence of probably, I don't know, every Saturday or every Friday, or every other week, twice a month, you have it so that they can come back again and see it again, because that's what happens with them. It's not a one time.
Yes, ma'am.
I
You know what gets me
wouldn't
worried?
take on the responsibility, excuse me, I wouldn't take on the responsibility so much of trying to have a forum every whatever, certain periods. I think perhaps to say to so-and-so that if you want to know how to do FaceTime, okay, here's what we will teach you at that forum, how to learn how to do it. FaceTime, I'm sure, has got some kind of a video or whatever to
You have
do
to have
that
an
work for you. Well, you have to
You have
assume
to-
everybody's got an iPhone. So all we want to do is just give them the information to be directed to learn how on their iPhone, on their Android, what, you know what I'm saying? We can't take an individual person and walk them through it several times. It costs us money to have those forums and whatevers. So I think if we just identify the needs of what they would like to do, our very first meeting, have a general forum, what would you like to learn how to do? By the way, do you know you can do this? Just the information to get it out there. What do you need? What do you want? Then the next meeting, we accommodate and you go sit at that table and do your Android and you go over there. It's going to take baby steps at first because it is too much to absorb as an elder person and remember and whatever. They got to do a little bit of the work.
You
Yes,
know what I worry about this life in these days? The more we use artificial intelligence, natural intelligence is harder to find. The next generation won't be able to think.
But don't worry about them.
They're gonna be
around with that.
told and I wear glasses. I read without glasses.
Well,
But the next this generation thinks it's in your eyes.
okay, I'm gonna have your one.
Things-
That has nothing to do with it. Okay.
Okay,
It's just your sight.
let's move on.
Mira,
Move on.
yeah.
It allowed,
Yeah, that's your hand there.
It allowed.
no, not allowed.
No.
Denied.
So for the next bingo will be a good idea to have,
Change your password.
that's next Wednesday. I don't know if we have time to write down exactly, just examples, so they can do a check mark.
No, we don't even need it. Like a tech day, we have different tables. One has Facebook. that.
But I'm thinking about if you list that, if you get some, you list that maybe, I don't know, that would be easy, you know, Zoom, WhatsApp, like you say, even to put picture, I don't know. You can think about it. Okay. Okay. All right, our next one is election of officers. Now, who wants to run this year?
I nominate you.
Let's start
I
with,
second that. one.
let's go with secretary first. Stephanie would like to step down.
As secretary.
As secretary, excuse me, and secretary,
Why?
because she's got a lot of commitments coming up this year. Is there anybody else on your position? And I know there is somebody here that would like to take it.
I'll jump up at
Or
any nomination.
Is there any nomination?
I make a nomination. Can I make a nomination for the chair?
No, we're
Secretary.
Starting with secretary.
Lady over there.
So I have to decide now.
You don't, you just have to take the nomination.
Yes or no, because we have to vote, yeah.
Yeah, but she has to accept the
You
nomination.
have to accept the nomination. Everybody, quiet. You cannot hear the lady that's been nominated. Go
I'm the
ahead.
only one that wants to take up the nomination or accept the nomination. There's no one else in the committee.
Nobody's raising their hand right
I know,
now.
but we have members that are absent. I mean, are these the only people here?
The elections have to take place.
They have to take place today.
Oh.
Because we have them first in January. we have them.
Here's the vice chair.
I apologize.
I'm the vice chair.
Oh, I wanted to be vice chair.
Okay, do you guys want to start with another position so we can?
That's what I was gonna say. Why don't we start with,
I did not
You recognize.
No, she was talking and he had his
And
hand
then
up.
she.
All right, Nancy, go ahead. Go
I'm
ahead.
saying the same thing, is why don't we deal with the people that want to stay in the position already? That's faster, you get that done. Then you go back to the secretary. So anybody who's in a position right now wants to remain in that position.
That's not the way, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but it doesn't work that way. We have to go through each position. It doesn't matter if the person wants to
But,
stay. you
but
need to-
different order, but. all I'm
No,
saying
no,
is
but I'm
different
saying it
order.
doesn't matter if they want to stay. The vote has to take place.
I
It's
know
up to the
that.
committee.
That's what I'm
Okay, I just wanted to
saying.
make sure.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I want to make a motion, so we nominate again Dorothy. Wilson as chair.
Okay, guys, are we in secretary or are we in chair?
We're going,
chair,
we're
we're
gonna start, we're gonna go this way, because she has not.
Just agree.
No,
No, we have to start with the chair.
it doesn't matter. It's just, there's too much talking going on. One at a
Please
time.
raise your hand.
For what?
Pedro had said something first. Go ahead, Pedro.
I want to nominate Dorothy Wilson as the chair.
I second.
And
Well, hold on, guys, hold on. She has to accept the nomination, and then we have to ask if anybody else wants to nominate or anybody else wants to
you brought it
run
up.
for chair.
Put it up.
So maybe we should say, does anybody else want it before I accept?
That's what I'm saying. We need
Yeah.
a.
Is there anybody else that wants to be the chair? Thank you.
Okay, now vote.
Claudia, are you accepting?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, I second.
Do we have to vote? You're all in?
Yeah.
Now we want the
Okay.
vice.
I make a motion to nominate Lourdes as vice chair again.
You accept the nomination?
Yes.
Anybody else want to be vice
I
chair?
wanted to be vice.
Okay,
Okay. We have two to go.
anybody else want to be vice chair? No, okay, so now your votes for Stephanie Regardless.
What are you gonna do? She sends up, when we raise our hand, she says, how do we do this?
We'll take the vote. Okay, we'll start with Stephanie. The votes for Stephanie for vice chair. Raise your hand. So we have a.
Oh, my God.
No? Okay, I'm closing the vote. All right, no vote. For Lourdes? Raise your hand. Raise it high so we can get a. We need.
What's, Okay, all in favor? Did you
Your
say?
vice chair.
Yeah, I accept.
Okay, now we're down to secretary.
Now secretary, any nominations?
I nominate.
You nominate.
You
You accept the nominee.
Secretary.
Okay, anybody else want to nominate or want to be secretary? No? Okay, vote for Stephanie.
All in favor? All in favor?
Two hands in
Aye.
favor.
So, okay, so for Lourdes, there was first and second.
Pedro. was-
Pedro, no.
And I, me.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
And, and then for Jessica?
You know,
Okay. Pedro nominated Jessica. Karen second. All in favor?
Yeah.
And we are not going to nominate the treasurer. Or it's
Yes,
not,
we do have a treasurer.
I nominate Rosario.
I'm second.
I'll take it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we have a full board now. Has anybody got any questions, concerns, anything they want me to look into for them?
I have a question. At the last meeting, certain people show up, politically people, to walk around. And we're not voting for anybody because there's no voting thing. I want to know how that works. Do people just can come and do it? Does it have to be during a political cycle? I want to know how that works.
Well, in terms of voting for anyone or campaigning, they
Yes.
cannot do that at your meeting. They cannot do that really in town hall.
So
That's
what do
not
we
supposed
do?
to be the case.
Tell them that they can't do it when
They
they
can
come?
come in here, but they should not be wearing any shirts with any, or have any signs with them. They can tell you, hey, I'm running for council, but that's about it. That's
Can they
as far as the,
at the table?
No, shouldn't.
that shouldn't,
All
that's
right,
not
That's what I
allowed.
wanted to,
Can they,
It did happen to us
last meeting.
at the last meeting for the,
Well, with no names,
no,
but it did happen.
it happened.
it happened,
At the Christmas.
Council,
No, no need to mention it, but it did happen. Okay, I just wanted to know
Yeah,
because
no,
then I could
that's
say,
not,
no, you can't do this now. You can come in and
They can come in now, hold on, very clear. If there's a difference between any elected officials that are running, rerunning, like to be reelected, at that point, they can be there.
Right, but they can't campaign.
They can't campaign. They can tell you I'm running. I want to be very clear. Hey, my name is, I'm running for this, but that's the end of the campaign. They can say, I'm here if you need me, my service is
Somebody
fine.
that's gonna run
But
for a new position.
Camp and anybody running for a new position, yeah, that's campaigning, because you have no business.
All right. All right. that's
Like,
what I-
as far as campaigning, hey, my name is, and I'm running for this, that's the
That's
end of
the-
it. They should not be wearing shirts, they should not have.
No, they cannot say.
She just said she.
No, they can say to me, but they can't go table by table. Once they do that, that becomes campaign.
I'll bring in her. So it'd be
Find
very,
out.
very clear.
I
on
wanted
that.
to, I wanted to know.
But technically, yeah, under town, buildings like you're not supposed to do
Right. That's what I thought.
And then, like, if you're gonna have a presentation, I usually refer to her, and then she puts it on the agenda, and they have their presentation invite.
Perfect.
And new sponsors, things like that,
Okay.
so,
I'll ask the Renzo to. Be very
Yeah, I wanna know.
okay, anybody wanna?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second, third.
Fourth, fifth? Thank you all for coming.
And thank you for whoever provided.
I don't know.
Thank you.